What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy and I'm going to be doing my review for the new TV series Ted. Now, this show has actually been out a couple months. It was released on Peacock in January and everything. And this show is directed and created by Seth MacFarlane, and in the show it's set in 1993, and Ted, the bear's moment of fame, has passed, leaving him living with his best friend, 16-year-old John Bennett, who lives in a working class Boston home with his parents and cousin. And Ted may not be the best influence on John, but when it comes right down to it, he's willing to go out on a limb to help his friend and his family. So I think this is a really good show. I'm a big fan of the Ted movies. I'm actually one of the few people that would actually go as far to say that the second movie was actually better than the first one and everything, because it just was so over the top funny with so many awesome hilarious jokes and stuff. And I felt like this show does pretty much more of the same with them, except just in a different setting and different time period and stuff. But I think this is a really good show. The story is really well done for the most part. I really enjoy it. And Seth MacFarlane is once again just absolutely great as Ted. Absolutely love him. And Max Burkholder, who plays John Bennett, is pretty good. I don't think he really looks like Mark Wahlberg and everything, and it is kind of hard to believe that that kid would grow up into Mark Wahlberg and stuff, but he gets the accent and the voice down really well. He actually sounds like Mark Wahlberg and everything, so I thought that was pretty cool and stuff. He does a pretty good impersonation of his voice and everything. And he's not on the same level as good as Mark Wahlberg either, but he does a good job and everything. But I think the jokes are great too. They're non-stop jokes throughout the whole show, every episode and everything, just non-stop jokes, and it's gut-bustingly funny and everything, although it's kind of hard to keep up with the jokes at times because there's just so many right and left and everything. But there's a lot of really funny moments in this show, and I love that the show has a lot of heart too. Like that's one thing that I loved about the Ted movies, and the show brings the heart and stuff to it too. It has a lot of really good heartfelt moments and stuff too, and we get to know a lot more about John's family and know more about his parents and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool too and everything. And there's a lot of really fun pop culture references too. Like you see Ted and John on Halloween night. They're throwing eggs at different kids, and one of them is dressed as a Hulk, and he's acting like he's gonna smash and everything. And they like make references to the Hulk and a bunch of other stuff. And of course, there's tons of Flash Gordon references too. And one of my favorite references is in actually the last episode of the season or series. Because I don't know if this is going to be renewed or not, or if this is just a mini series. But when John is going on this date with this girl, and they're riding on this carpet on top of the car, and Ted is driving and stuff, trying to recreate the whole New World scene and everything. I love that moment. It's just really funny and everything. And everything. Really, the only negative I have with this movie is there's a lot of political crap that does not belong in a show that is set in the 90s, stuff that is more relevant to today's era and stuff and everything wouldn't fit into the time period that they're in, and it just didn't work for me. Plus I don't like them bringing political stuff into movies and TV shows and stuff, and that's just something I try to get used to, but I was really hoping they wouldn't do it with this show and everything, but they did and everything. But aside from that, that's really the only big negative I had. I think all in all, it's a pretty decent and good show. And it's a pretty good prequel to the movies. It has a perfect cast, and it's almost a perfect show, just like I felt like those were perfect movies and stuff in their own right. They were perfect comedies when they came out. And I think this show is almost perfect, except for a lot of the political stuff and everything. And take that stuff out of it, the show would have been a lot better. But it did have some really fun moments, and it was a really interesting show. So, all in all, I'd give Ted an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really enjoyable series and everything. I do hope we get more, though. I wouldn't mind seeing a season 2 and stuff. I just hope that they tone back on the political stuff and everything. But I'd love to get either a season 2 or maybe get Ted 3 and everything. I love spending time with these characters, and I'd love to see what they would do with them more and everything. It'd be awesome to get Mark Wahlberg back in a third movie, but I don't kind of really see that happening. But for what we got, I think this is pretty good and everything. I'd even love to see a Ted series that's set when he's really famous and stuff throughout the 80s, because you only get a glimpse of that in the first movie, so I'd love to see what they would do with that too. So if they wanted to do another prequel to this prequel, that would be kind of cool too, and everything. Do kind of like they did with Annabelle, do a prequel to the prequel. But but yeah, so anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Ted, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.